G'day guys and gal. One of the biggest themes of Warhammer 40k is racism. Not that petty interspecies pigment shit, no. I'm talking about race wars between sentient creatures that have no shared common ancestor. Humans destroy Eldar craft worlds because if they can't have big titty Eldar girlfriends, then no one can. Eldar literally call humans Monkai. Ironically, the only really non-racist beings in the galaxy are the Tyranids, who eat everyone equally. Those damn space bugs bringing in their woke apocalyptic agenda. There are some humans who rise above this though, bastions of nobility that command so much respect that even aliens forsake their racist tendencies and either acknowledge them as equals, a friend, or a worthy rival. Before we get started, one of the greatest crimes of modernization was doing away with the class system. Being an aristocrat would have slapped. However, one of the greatest boons of modernization is that you can exploit almost anything for personal gain. A chief example is that by buying a 1 square foot of land in Scotland via established titles, which by technicality makes you a lord. But why do this if the class system is kaput? Well, there are plenty of benefits. Firstly, you can place the title of lord on any document that usually would accept Mr., Mrs. or Doctor, such as credit cards, boarding passes, and dating apps. You can also genuinely look up your plot of land. It exists and it is tangible. To add more sugar to the pot, for every order placed, established titles will plant a tree via their partner's one tree planted and trees for the future. Overall, a great gift for yourself or a loved one. So to become a lord, get 10% off your order and have your plot put near mine to help grow the Majorkill empire, then use my link below. Cheers to established titles for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over the few legendary humans who have earned the respect of Xenos. Let's get into it. Each Xeno race requires a different method to earn their respect. Kicking mad ass might impress some orcs, but it'll disgust the Tau. Being nice might work for the Tau, but it will make the Elder think you're a kiss ass. So it might come as no surprise that the human that the Elder respect the most is a quadriplegic burn victim that floats around in a life support chair. This unlucky dude is Ravenel, an Imperial Inquisitor who got cum blasted by an airstrike early on in his career, turning him into a lump of melted flesh. Fortunately, he was a god tier psyker, so he was able to keep being in the field as an Inquisitor despite his extreme physical disability. Ravenel, like a number of Inquisitors, especially ones taught by Eisenhorn, was open-minded. During his career, he encountered the Elder and formed a connection with them, learning from them and even helping them in kind. He actually tried to learn far-seeing from them, but he just couldn't quite crack it. He could, and occasionally did, summon them to his aid if their goals aligned, allowing him to take command of small strike teams of aspect warriors. He has even been able to delay them from exterminating a corrupted world, just by asking them so he can finish his business there. So why does Ravenel command so much respect from them? How is he able to have a voice in their councils that is louder than even some of the other Elder? Well, firstly, he is a very powerful psyker, which helps with the whole respect thing. On top of that, he isn't a xenophobic piece of shit. Elder are so used to the shoot first, ask questions later humans that it's especially refreshing when they meet one that isn't like that. Also, as an Inquisitor, Ravenel has a shitload of authority, meaning he can direct Imperial fleets away from Eldar targets and overall prevent conflict between the two races. Before he got low-key incinerated, Ravenel was also said to look like an Elder, having distinct sharp features. The biggest point though is that he isn't some Elder bitch puppet, some compromised Inquisitor in their pocket. If they're being assholes, he'll be like, alright, fuck you then mate, and go on his way. He'll drop his alliance with the Elder in a heartbeat if it causes issues with his Imperial allegiance. Getting the Tau to like you isn't a massive feat. After all, they have billions of humans in their Tau empire, and nobody can tell me that they don't at least occasionally fuck. However, earning both the Tau and the Kroot's respect is a whole nother ballgame that Caiaphas Cain was able to manage. Cain is a pretty unique guy. He isn't a radical or Xeno lover, but he possesses something that nearly no one else in 40k does. Common sense. He knows that war between the Imperium and the Tau is wasteful and pointless when there is shit like the Orcs, Tyranids, and Chaos still around. As such, he has helped prevent a number of wars between the two races, earning the respect of the Tau and the Kroot in the process. His first encounter with the Kroot was when he and his dumbass drunk mate got ambushed by a bunch of Tau lovers who got all weird and racist by painting their faces blue. Is that racist? Like, if someone does blackface because they are a weeb for black culture, that seems like it would be. Anyway, Cain fights back, kills a few, and before they can get him, a Kroot interrupts the fight and tells the blue-faced weeaboos to fuck off and stop trying to cause a war. Kane and the Kroot have a brief but cool convo where Kane doesn't back down or flinch, impressing the Kroot. It's especially impressive since Kane's parents were killed by the Kroot, yet he harbours no particular ill will towards them. From there, Kane saved Tau diplomats, fought alongside the Kroot, and built up a reputation with the entire Empire. He is one of the main reasons why the Tau helped the Imperium against the Gene Stealers, and why the Tau were actually happy to leave the Imperial world and let mankind own it completely. Years later, the Tau Empire would remember him, trusting him to be the glue that would hold another Tau and Imperial alliance together against the Tyranids. Once again though, Kane wasn't a Tau simp. He would happily blow their little blue brains out if need be, but the need wasn't to be, so he worked with them. The title of this video is Respect, not Alliance, and Kane was very well respected by the Xenos he was sworn to safeguard against. While Space Marines are universally seen as formidable and dangerous foes by the Xenos of the galaxy, not that many Xenos actually respect them. They see them as these closed-minded brutes who are slaves to the will of a decaying, corrupt empire. However, there are exceptions to every rule. High Marshal Helbrecht, Lord of the Black Templars, is a chief example. A warrior and leader so effective and ruthless that his name and legend are known by numerous Xeno races. He has slain a shitload of orcs, being pretty much second only to Yarrick on their respect list, but it's his rivalry with Imhotep the Stormlord that I want to talk about today. Imhotep is a beast of a Necron, universally feared by even other Necrons as the most powerful Necron warlord behind the Silent King. When he awoke, the galaxy was on easy mode for him. Nothing could stop him. He took over his dynasty and laid waste and ruin to everything in his path. His first true test would come when the Black Templars, led by Helbrecht, engaged Imhotep in battle. The two legends fought. Helbrecht was the superior warrior, landing what should have been a dozen fatal blows, but Imhotep left God mode on, instantly healing every time. For every 5 shots Helbrecht got in, Imhotep would only get like 1 or 2 lesser hits, but over time that was enough. Bleeding from a shitload of wounds and exhausted, Helbrecht collapsed. Although Imhotep was gloating and being a dick about it, he still respected Helbrecht's tenacity enough to let him live, cutting off his hand to remind him of this defeat. Helbrecht would withdraw and survive, leading the Templars to one of their few defeats. Vengeance would come though, when years later, the super shitty Helbrecht would engage Imhotep's fleet and lead a vicious teleport strike on Imhotep's flagship. Although Imhotep was itching for round 2 with his newfound rival, he had to bail, leaving his prized flagship to be launched into the nearby sun and destroyed. Helbrecht achieved his vengeance, with Imhotep also being given a permanent reminder of his defeat. So although Helbrecht loathes Imhotep and wants to see him destroyed, whilst Imhotep is super shitty that his shiny flagship is now ash, subconsciously, these immenseful prideful warriors have created a mutually respectful rivalry. Imhotep saw the galaxy as vulnerable cheeks ready to get clapped. Helbrecht shows him that those cheeks were already clenched hard. On the flip side, Helbrecht saw the Templars as a guaranteed solution to any problem that involved Xenos. Imhotep removed that guarantee. Although their rivalry will never be as cutesy and wholesome as Yarrick and Ghazghkull's, it is still one for the ages. Speaking of Yarrick, there are few humans that command as much fear, awe, and respect from the Orcs than him. A legendary commissar, Yarrick became the Orcs' boogeyman after he slew a war boss, took its power claw for his own, then proceeded to thwart Ghazghkull's invasion of Armageddon, using the most spicy war crime tactics around. Now for literally any other race, this would make Yarrick public enemy number 1, and he'd probably be the target of assassinations. But for the Orcs, this was super endearing. They respected the fuck out of him, and even created legends about him, such as his bionic eye actually being able to shoot lasers, and if you looked into it, you will die. Yarrick being able to wield an Orc power claw was absurd, and only added to his godlike reputation amongst the Orcs. Ghazghkull respected him so much that when he eventually outplayed and captured Yarrick, he couldn't bring himself to kill him, instead playing some very risky games with him before releasing him back to the Imperium. Yarrick and Ghazghkull would play their war games. Well, they were games to Ghazghkull. Yarrick fucking hated the Orc. It was their personal rivalry that has kept Yarrick alive and in peak shape for way beyond his retirement age. I'm not sure how I feel about the rumours that Ghazghkull will finally slay Yarrick, although it is fitting. One of the biggest things that has been holding Ghazghkull back from unleashing his mega war in the galaxy is his attachment to Yarrick. If Yarrick dies, Ghazghkull will be unleashed and the Orcs might actually become scary once again. Who knew Orky respect for a human would be the only thing keeping trillions of people alive? An interesting one now, we have Dante, the chapter master of the Blood Angels and the most badass suicidal dude in the galaxy. Dante is one of the few humans who have met the Silent King face to face. This was when, after a brief conflict, the Silent King was like, whoops, fuck me, the Tyranids are coming, and decided that aligning with the Blood Angels against the woke parasites was the way to go. He also knew Dante wasn't just going to do that though, so he fashioned a peaceful death mask of Sanguinius and wore it when he met Dante, claiming that him and Sanguinius were actually mates and that this was all just a big misunderstanding. The fact that the Silent King went through all this trouble, formed the alliance, and then respected it after the battle was done and left without incident shows his respect to Dante and the Blood Angels. I mean, to be fair, the Silent King is actually a pretty swell guy, known for letting enemies live if they fight with honor and tenacity. I don't know if this next bit counts as respect, but the devastation of Baal wasn't because Baal was a tactically intelligent world to attack for the Tyranids. It had fuck all biomass and was extremely difficult to siege. The Tyranids knew they would end up losing more biomass than they would gain, but they attacked anyway. Is that respect for the Blood Angels and how big of a threat they were to the Tyranids, or was that just the Tyranids throwing a tantrum? Unclear, as I don't understand how woke people think. But regardless, the Tyranids willingly sacrificing a high fleet to try fuck you over must equal some kind of respect. Respect comes in all shapes and sizes, whether it be someone listening to you, helping you out, or trying really fucking hard to kill you. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where there's not only a bunch of nude cosplay shots, but also a boatload of Battle Mace 40 million hentai. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more respectful content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.